Sentire Media.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series dedicated to Venice in Italy. I'm your host, Monica Cesarato, a Venetian food and travel blogger. Join me as I share my insider knowledge to help you explore Venice at 360 degrees. In this weekly podcast, we'll dive into the heart of a city, uncovering hidden stories and connecting with the people who make Venice unique. The artisans, the writers, the fashion designers, the bloggers, the journalists, and more. Let's break free from cliché and discover the true essence of Venice, not just the monuments, but the vibrant people, the Venetians. Experience Venice the right sustainable way. You can find me on my blog at www.monicacesarato.com and across all social media platforms. Enjoy the episode and let's journey through Venice together. Welcome back to Venice Talks, Season 4, Episode 6. Hi everybody, welcome back to Venice Talks. Today, my special guest, she's young, she's pretty, and she's really talented. And I'm speaking to Shanti Ganesha from Meracu. Ciao Shanti, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you, Monica. Thank you for having me here.
No, thank you so much for taking time off for talking to me because I know you're very busy. So let's explain to everybody what is Meracu.
So Meracu is a small shop and workshop and in Venice. And we produce and sell our products in the store, and it's all completely handmade, 100% handmade. I work with leather, so we basically transform those rolls of leather, cutting them and sewing them with an ancient technique, which is the settle technique. And all the stitches are handmade, and the designs are a bit contemporary. So what we do is basically put together tradition, which is like the old techniques with modern designs. So
okay, I'll stop you there because we're going to this, otherwise in like 2 minutes we have finished the conversation.
Okay.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Do you remember the first time leather actually made you think, this is my language?
So I do remember the first time I worked with leather was back in 2012 or 13. And I had some friends working with leather, and I went for dinner at their place and they were doing production, and I was just fascinated. So I started asking them questions. And at one point they're like, don't you want to do your own tobacco pouch? I'm like, yeah, why not? And I started working and they taught me how to make my tobacco pouch. And I remember just falling in love, at first touch with leather in a way.
Yeah, but wait a minute. If I walk into this kind of situation and they look at me and they said, do you want to do it? I've never done anything with my hand pretty much. So it will be like, you are telling me that you coming from working with your hands before then. Yes?
So I studied art and I've always been a functional person. So I've always I grew up in India my first 10 years in a farm. And in the farm, like our toys and everything, we used to build them ourselves. So we used to take bamboo and cut it and make sailing boats that would sink after 2 seconds. But we would experiment and, play with our hands building things. So I guess that the manuality that I have has always been there, always been part of me.
Okay. And you started in Venice in 2022. What was the exact spark of that moment? When did you decide to become a real workshop?
So, well, the pandemic had a big influence on this because I spent 10 years of my life around the world, traveling and working and doing some very random jobs. And then with the pandemic, when I came back to Venice, and leather has always been my hobby in all those years. So it was something I did on the side. And with the pandemic, I started thinking about what I actually want to do in my life, and I started thinking how important work is. I mean, how important is the time and the energy we dedicate to work? So if you don't do something that gratifies you, something that gives you pleasure, it's a lot of time wasted, and a lot of energy which is wasted. So I started thinking, what's the thing that I like the most doing? And I was like, oh, well, I like working with leather. I just, like my mind gets free and it's kind of meditative for me. And then I was a bit scared because transforming a passion into work might, take away the pleasure of doing something that you actually do like doing. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes more forced. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end, I honestly was very surprised because I started with small markets and
Mm-hmm.
and other things until I opened up finally my shop.
Did you
And
did you teach? Are you self-taught or did you go and learn from somebody?
no, I'm self-taught, completely
Okay,
self-taught.
so that actually, for me, you're talking about a material that if you make a mistake, goodbye. Once you cut it, you cut it. So
Yeah.
to be self-taught, I mean, one thing is to go with, under a master, you're an apprentice, and if you're about to make a mistake, that could be serious. Generally, the master might block you, just in time. It's so much harder when you're self-taught because, or am I wrong on this?
No, it is because you make a lot of mistakes. But the thing with being self-taught is, and most of all working in expensive material, which is leather, is that once you do one mistake, you're never going to repeat it again. Like,
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
so you kind of like, by doing it yourself. So by doing the mistakes, you kind of learn, what not to do basically.
Mm-hmm.
As probably when you get taught, you don't really think about the mistakes that you might be able to do. And the nice
Okay.
thing is that you have to work your way around the mistake also. So you kind of try to think how to solve the problem around the mistake. So you start thinking in a different way. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess the freedom that I had with, I mean, I do a bit of unusual stuff, respect to
Mm-hmm.
the standard leather works. And I found my own technique of working with leather. And I think that's all thanks to the fact that I'm self-taught. So I found my own way of,
Mm.
like working with leather rather than somebody giving me already knowledge and not giving me the possibility to evolve in a way,
Mm-hmm.
my own way, of working leather. So I guess that's a plus, you
Uh-huh.
know.
How do you choose a hide? How do how do you pick it? What do you notice and make you say, oh, I want that one and not that one?
So definitely, like when you go and choose the hides, you have so many rolls of leather. I use only vegetable tan leather,
Mm-hmm.
and well, it's definitely like we call it the fiore e
Mm-hmm.
l'incarnato. So the fiore, the flower,
Mm-hmm.
translated in English, is the part of the skin that has the hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have l'incarnato, which is like the meaty part, which is
Mm-hmm.
the part which is underneath basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely look at the fiore, so the flower, so the top part, to see if there is any scars. Where are those scars? Because it's an animal, so it will
Mm-hmm.
have scars. And those scars, I think, are beautiful, honestly. The problem is that a lot of people want something which is perfect.
Perfect. Exactly.
So what I do
Unfortunately.
is I go around and see where those scars are and if I can actually work around them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I definitely work with a very like kind of thickish leather. So it's not like a thin, soft leather. I like to work with guaio, which is a thick leather. So it's
Yeah.
2.2 millimeters.
Yeah.
And so I will check if it's all even, the whole skin is even. And then it's more about the touch. It's kind of like when I go and choose my leather, it's everything is yummy. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's I get the
you
sense
you
of,
sound
like yummy.
you sound like when I talk about food.
Exactly.
But so you also had to teach yourself how to recognize good level from not so good level. Then I mean, you had to, I suppose, study quite a lot on this.
It's all about, like experience.
Yeah.
And this it took me a bit longer to understand the kind of leather because you have, even just by choosing only to work with vegetable tan leather, you have a lot of different kind of vegetable tan leather. Some are more like um, fatty in a way, so
Mm-hmm.
they have more oils inside, so they
Mm-hmm.
keep less the shape and they get softer quicker, which are useful for certain things. But then you have some drier leather, which is more like stiff in a way, but it will, for my product itself, are very good because they hold the shape
Mm.
better. So this is all by experience and experimenting and trying different leathers. And it took me a while, honestly, to understand those parts of the leather. So it's a lesson that it's still ongoing. I mean, I'm still
Uh-huh.
learning a
Do
lot of
you
things.
only use Italian leather, yes?
Yes, only
Okay.
Italian leather, only vegetable tan leather from Tuscany, from the
Ah, okay.
consortium.
Okay. What is the slowest part of the process? The part that you cannot rush because otherwise something important is going to be lost.
Well, really, each kind of part of the process it's important. I mean, from the moment you cut the leather, so you have to be very careful when you cut the leather.
Mm-hmm.
But everything has its own timing, like you can't really rush things because you will make mistakes. Even
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that takes longest to do, like the thing that takes more time is the stitching because I
Mm.
not having a sewing machine, I have to stitch it all by hand.
Oh la la. Okay. I'm not even
And
going down the way of asking you how long it takes because, of course, depends on the product that you stitch in. But
yeah.
I mean, apart from stitching through leather, I can just imagine your fingers, the state of because, of course, it's
Yes.
hard. But the time as well. Oh my God. But that was makes it so special, isn't it? Because every stitch is different in a way. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
because it's not, but it is at the same time, isn't it?
yeah, no, every stitch is different. I mean, it kind of like if you don't know that I'm stitching by hand, you would think it's machine stitched because
Wow, you're so cool. Oh, you're so good.
so
Oh.
the stitches are very regular, very even. And even
Mm-hmm.
there, it's a technique that you kind of like evolve over time and you
Mm-hmm.
understand. And it's an all like settle stitching technique.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, like going back to the question you asked before, it's like every single process take its own time. So you can't really rush things because you will definitely make a mistake if you rush things.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part is also that, like every single product is going to be slightly different one from the other one. It might be something that other people don't notice, but I do notice. It might be a little scar, it might be a little
Mm-hmm.
spot, it might be something, about how the leather has, like what kind of leather I've used. So every kind of like piece is completely like it's different one from the other one
But
slightly.
that's how it should be because that's
Yes.
what handmade means. It should be slightly different or altogether different sometimes, but it should be. Is when they're all the same that people should go like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why is he exactly the same? So, what have you learned from the tradition of leva from Venice then? Because we had the big, not so much anymore, but the city of Venice had a big tradition on, how do you
Yeah,
call it? I'm using the wrong terms in English, but dyeing the leather and so on.
the tanneries.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. I knew I had to talk to
So,
somebody technical about it.
well, I'm from Giudecca Island, so I guess,
Okay.
yeah.
That's where they were
And
based.
exactly. So Giudecca was actually, it had, I think, on its highest point, 23 tanneries. And they
Wow.
isolated them here because it was very smelly.
Yeah,
So
of
Venice
course. Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
want them. And there is a street which is named Calle del Consacurame,
Yes.
and which means exactly like the street of the leather tanners.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an very old tradition that was here. And then the skin would be sold in Rialto. But the problem is that kind of Venice forgot a bit about this old tradition. We are
Mm-hmm.
not many leather artisans in Venice itself. Like we're very few leather artisans. And also the term like curame, if you ask around to Venetian people,
Mm-hmm.
they will know the little song or the little riddle, tiga fame magna curame, which means are you
Mm-hmm.
hungry, then eat leather. They will know
Yeah.
this, but they won't associate curame with leather. So it's kind of like a word which is getting forgotten.
Yes. Yes.
And that thing is something that represents actually the tradition of leather in Venice. I mean, it's something which is getting forgotten. So what I did is I included that word in my brand. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look at my logo, which is Meracu, but it's all a geometrical match of letters. If you read it
Mm-hmm.
from the bottom up, it's
Yeah.
actually written curame.
Yes, it's
And
a joke on the world, actually. It's really good, but it's actually very catchy as well. Meracu. It sounds like a game or something. I don't know. It's catchy. I like it. It's
it
really
has
good.
three different meanings. So basically, that brand is like, I'm half Indian, half Italian.
Mm-hmm,
So it kind of represents that part. And so it has that Meracu in Telugu, which is a South Indian language, means the strike of a lightning or something like shiny. And then
mm-hmm,
you have read down up Kurame, which means leather in Venetian.
mm-hmm.
And then Meraki in Greek, which means doing something creative, putting a piece of yourself in what you do, which is a beautiful meaning that represents completely my idea of handcraft, you know?
Oh. So it was meant, the name, I told you when we met each other, the name was just meant to be that one. So
Yeah.
you're very clear that you do not aim for serial production. Very happy about that because otherwise you wouldn't be on the show anyway. What do you lose and what do you gain making this choice every day by purposely choosing to make every single object totally different from the next one?
So, well, what do I gain? I gain the pleasure of just being sitting there and doing, like working with my hands and doing something that I love, definitely. I
Mm-hmm.
guess that, like if I would make it more machine based, so I'll buy a stitching machine, I'll buy, like other tools which will fasten up the production, definitely. I would
Mm-hmm.
kind of lose the other part. I mean, the slowness of doing things and
Mm-hmm.
reflecting on things. And I mean, it's kind of like you go on a meditative state, when you work with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, you do also something repetitive. So I guess that, like I would win more time, but I would
Mm-hmm.
lose the other part of it.
Mm-hmm.
While by working with hand, I gain the pleasure of doing it. My fingers are a little less happy, but I
Mm-hmm.
gain, like the pleasure of working with leather and taking my own time to work with leather.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I lose the more fast production. So maybe instead of doing, like in a day, one bag, I could probably be able to produce 10 bags in one
Yeah.
day. So
Well, you
those are
lose
the things that
on
I
the
lose.
number of people, but you gain on the quality of people, don't you? That walk
Exactly.
into your shop because, I mean, they probably walk all in, but those that stay and buy generally are those quality, let's say. Um, Hold on, I lost my series, my questions. Yes. Oh, have you ever said no to a request because it would have betrayed, who you are?
Yes, I have. I have different times actually said no because I do custom made orders too. So you
Okay.
can walk into my shop if you're searching something, and then you can ask me, like, look, I'm searching for this, but I can't find it anywhere. And we design it together. We choose the leather and then we
Mm-hmm.
make it basically. So I have denied requests about products made with different kind of leather than vegetable tan leather. So
Okay, of
some
course,
people have
because
asked
well,
me,
you have to stay with who you are and what you decided to be,
yeah.
your guidelines. Absolutely.
So
Okay.
I don't work with how do you call them, with reptile leather, any
Okay.
exotic leather. So
Okay.
exotic leather, because I don't really like. I try to be ethical. I know vegans won't be very
Yeah, they don't make a distinction. Yes, of course.
with me. But the thing is, like reptile leather, so all the exotic leather is the animals are really captive and they are uh, grown just to get the skin. So they are
Mm,
how do you say? It's absolutely not ethical how they work
mhm,
with
mhm,
those animals. As
mhm.
while what I choose, which is like cowhide, it's more like anyways, until people are going to be eating meat, it's going to be a byproduct of the meat
Yeah, yeah,
industry.
of course, of
So
course, of
it's
course.
always going to be a waste. So if we take this waste and transform it into something durable,
Yeah, yeah,
that
of course.
like you buy one bag and that bag will last for 40, 50, 60 years, 80
Mhm,
years, who knows, because it's vegetable tan leather, and more you use it, more beautiful it becomes. So
mhm.
that's an amazing thing rather than buying, like a vegan bag made out of plastic
Plastic,
because most of
which
them are
is
made out of
which is
plastic.
which is highly polluting,
Exactly.
and and it breaks 2 days later, and
Yeah.
yes, so we you have to balance that. How hard is though to look after your bags? I mean, this is a general level in general. What should we do to keep it
So
nice? Because I'm telling you, because I'm the kind of person that destroys everything. So you're teaching me how to keep it nice.
So the nice thing about leather is worse you treat it, better becomes, you know, it's like more you use it, more beautiful it becomes. And
Okay.
because it gains that patina.
Mm.
And the only thing that I honestly recommend doing is every now and then just hydrate it with some grease. So it can be any leather balm that you use for your leather shoes. It
Ah,
just needs to
okay.
be neutral,
Mm-hmm.
and you just hydrate the leather so it stays kind of like soft, and also it will age better over time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something you need to do just like once, maximum twice a year. You don't really need to do it like every now and then. For the rest, just treat it bad, and it will become more beautiful because it the nice thing about leather, it adapts to you, your use,
Mm.
and it just adapts to you,
Mm.
and it will take your shapes, your gestures will get impressed on the leather, like a
Oh,
wallet.
I feel sorry for the poor leather because I throw things around, I leave them getting wet, then I forgot it's got wet. I'm terrible. I mean, that's why I'm always a bit. I love to have beautiful things, but I try not to surround myself too much with beautiful
Mm,
things because
try with leather.
yeah, no, a leather stuff is always no, okay. Leather bags, whenever I can afford it, I always buy some because I usually destroy things. That's one thing. The leather bags I have, the few that I have, they are, yeah, they got scratches and stuff like that, but they're still there. Any other ones, if after a year they fall apart. So you like to collaborate with other artisans and artists?
Yes, I do. I do. I
Okay.
have collaborated in the past, and I hope to collaborate also in the future.
Have you got a
And
dream collaboration?
yes, actually, I would love to do. Well, I have a lot of dream collaborations. I'd
Okay.
like to mix up basket weaving with leather,
Oh,
and
okay.
also ceramic with leather. So kind of
Oh,
like mixing up some things for the house, or other things, but doing like leather handles, or like certain leather parts on them.
oh, the other
And
way around as well. A bag with a ceramic handle.
yes, of course,
Yeah,
there's so
yeah.
many different things that you can be doing, mixing materials, and it gives
Cool.
you a lot of like even with
Yeah.
woodworking, I mean, wooden lids, wooden handles, you can
Yeah.
do so many different things.
Yeah.
So I am actually working on a small collaboration now for a small, like very, 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 very tiny collection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be with a jewel maker, and we're
Oh.
going to do some bags. We still have to like finalize, but we're working
Mm-hmm.
on it.
Mm-hmm.
So mixing up the decorative part of the jewel as also a part of the bag. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a bag that you can wear.
Which is very Venetian. Is what some of the Venetian used to do, if I'm not wrong, with the all the corporations, no? They used to mix and no? Am I saying
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
that they used to mix and match things.
yeah. Listen, what is your signature? What is it? Something that if somebody says one of your products, immediately you say, okay, this is Meracu. I know it's Meracu.
There's a few actually signature bags. I mean, some of the bags I actually did patent, so they are registered. And
Okay.
one is the Spigolo, which is a
Mm-hmm.
bag which is a triangular shape. It looks a little bit like a pyramid, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a backpack, and that's definitely like when you see it, it's very unconventional.
Yeah,
And
it
then there is,
definitely is. It's what drew me to you when I first saw you at the Salone dell'Artigianato. For okay, this is different. I love things that are different and unique. Okay, and then something else.
then there is well, the cocoon, la
Mm-hmm,
crisalide, which
mm-hmm,
is a bag inspired to a cocoon, of course.
mm-hmm.
So it has this shape that rounds up, and it's different from every angle you look at it. So it's completely different from every angle, and it just unwraps. So it's kind of hard to explain how it is. You need to
To
see
see
it,
it.
and you would understand. But most of the thing is that I mix a lot of origami on my bags. So the
Okay.
technique of the origami. So a lot of them are very like geometrical kind of shape,
Uh-huh.
and they fold, and like they open up, and there is a lot of like origami technique mixed
So,
involved in
so not just the Indian culture, but also the Asian, as in Japanese culture, has influenced you.
everything influences me. I mean,
Ah,
it's
okay.
not about like a place. I just went to Cambodia, for example, like in
Uh-huh.
January.
Uh-huh.
And I was like fascinated. There was a lot of handcraft, and of course I
Yeah,
went and explored it all.
of
And I was
course.
fascinated with the leaf weaving. So leaf, with the leaves they would make those baskets. So I
Yeah,
was just like looking at those things and thinking, how can I apply this to leather, like
I know. Yeah.
such beautiful shapes and things like that. And so I came back, and the first thing I did when I went to the studio is like cut strips and start studying how
And
to make like leaf weaving on leather. So
cool. Yeah. So
yeah.
practically everything inspires you, as long as it's got a little bit, as long as it's soft and it can be made with, replicated in with leather. Yes, sounds like.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like inspiration is something that just kind of happens, at
Mm-hmm.
least to me. I guess that other people, maybe it works different for everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
to me, it just happens. It's kind of like when you are like, the little lamp that lights up on your head, you're like, ting, okay, I got an idea.
Yes.
And then you experiment and do things. So it's not really related to something. It can be nature, it can be culture, it can be other handcraft, it can be anything, honestly. It can be a mood, it can be
Mm.
anything. So it,
I also love it because I think what gives you all this, this, let's say, out of the box thinking is what, going back to the beginning when we were talking, because you're self-taught. Because that way you had no imprint. You just literally took everything that you saw and made it yours. Which is, as you were saying, in a way, good because, not only about the mistakes, but also about uh, not copying other people. Because I think a problem is nowadays is hard to find people like you which have unique ideas. A lot of people arrive and they see somebody else. Oh, I'll do it in all sectors. I'm talking about in all sectors, not just saying artisan. Generally speaking, they come, they look. Oh, it's easier. I'll just do what she does or what he does, and it's a bit sad because it stops. The new ideas coming along. Same there. Would you like to have an apprentice?
I do. I did have an apprentice, which became part of my business now.
Okay, okay. So she's not she or he is not an apprentice anymore. Okay,
No, they're
okay.
completely been
So
involved and incorporated in the business now.
good. So okay,
So we are
back to
two now.
oh, two. Okay, back to the apprentice when she was an apprentice. Beyond the technique, what did you teach him or teach her? Is it a he or a she?
It's a she.
Okay,
So
good. Okay, you're a girl shop, a girl power. Good. So,
yeah.
apart from the techniques, what did you teach her?
Well, it's kind of hard because not having had a teacher, I didn't really know how to teach somebody else. So
Okay.
I kind of like really wanted her to explore. So I would tell her things, and when she would make mistakes, I wanted her to kind of solve her own mistakes.
Okay.
So we would reason around how can you get around this, like do you have
Mm-hmm.
to take it apart and do a new one, or can you work around this? So I would kind of like make her think about things. And I don't know, like I guess that I followed her on a lot of steps, but at the same time, I gave her the time to learn on her own. So
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing about leatherworking is being able to plan something. So, for example, if you have an idea of doing something, you might have it, built in your head. Then you have to
Mm.
transform it. Like you have to take the leather and make that
Yeah.
object. So what you have to do is you have to dismantle the product in your mind,
Yes.
and then you have to reassemble the product with all the steps that go with it. So the thing
Yeah.
is, like, there is always like a pattern you have
Yeah.
to, like,
Like when
you
you make
can't start
clothing. Like
first
when you make
certain
clothing, it's the
things.
same kind of thing. You need the pattern and then you build, it's like Legos. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't, like, the stitches go afterwards. So the first thing is
Yeah.
cutting. So you have to, like, put them also on do the thing in a certain order if you want to make it
Mm-hmm.
happen. And a lot of times the mistake comes in that part, like you start something, but you had to do something else before and
Mm.
you didn't do. So you have to, like, figure out how to do that. So I wanted really her to learn this part. So dismantle the things and then reassemble them, and like, first in her head and then on the leather itself. And that's a very important part of the work.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you picture Meracu in 5 years' time,
Huh.
aha, 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 okay.
Mhm.
Considering how well you did because you came out of COVID and it's beautiful. I was telling you the other day, it's amazing how many you young people. We have those two generations of artisans at the moment, the older generation and this brand new generation, literally like mushrooms. You popped out after COVID, and I'm so happy because it means Venice is alive and kicking. So, how do you see yourself in 5 years? How do you see Meracu? What many more shops? Just a big. Your shop is quite big actually, so I don't think you need to make it bigger. But where do you see yourself?
Well, one thing that I would really love is that, like, the business in a way grows. And
Mm-hmm.
I would like, if the business does grow, I would like to kind of empower other women
Mm.
to
Okay.
work. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a feminist,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to help other women, like, get independent, get stronger, and do things. Maybe women which are a bit in trouble, maybe women which are from other cultures, so maybe they struggle with integration.
Mm-hmm.
And being half Indian, I kind of do understand certain things about other cultures. So I kind of, like, would like to use maybe the growth of Meracu to be able to empower those women. So I'd like
Mm-hmm.
that, honestly, in a future.
Nice. I thought you were gonna say to me, I want to have my product, God knows, in whatever shop in the world, whatever. I love this. It's so nice. Listen, the last question. Describe Meracu in 3 words, but don't use handmade and not unique. Mm-hmm.
So 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
Unusual,
Okay.
contemporary,
Mm-hmm.
minimalist.
Okay. I would have added also traditional because do you remember we talked about it when I saw you? And you are actually the link between the past and the present because you're still using all the techniques that Venetian used to use. You are in Venice. Okay. You're from Giudecca. That's even more important because it's where the leva was prepared. But at the same time, you do not do your typical Venetian products. So I think you are also on that. Well, it was so nice talking to you. I'm so happy I came to see you. And where can people find you on internet?
So I do have a website with a shop, which is,
Mm-hmm.
www.meracu.it.
Mm-hmm.
IT.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do have Instagram also. If you search Meracu Leather Goods, you'll find me. And then yeah, you just pop by the shop and you'll find me or Greta in
And
the
your
workshop
shop is
working.
beautiful. You are in Via Castello in a beautiful, quiet area. I love
Yeah.
it where you are. It's quite easy to find, actually, because you are. What's the bridge in front of you? I can never remember it.
So that is, I think, the Bridge of Comenda, but it's
Okay.
just in front of like La Chiesa Greca dei Gesuati,
Esatto. So,
behind San Lorenzo. It's honestly from San Zaccaria, it's a 5-minute walk.
Exactly. And she's got a beautiful shop, guys. I walk there, you walk in, and this whiff of leather just literally welcomes you. And the place is so bright and so beautiful. And you get to see Shanti working because she's there stitching and cutting just in front of your eyes, which I think is one of the most beautiful things because I love it that your workshop is actually in the bottega. Is not actually separated. People can actually see you from the windows as you're working. I love that. So, Shanti, it was so nice talking to you. Thank you for taking the time because I know you're very, 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 very busy. And thank you again.
Thank you for having me here. It's been a nice chat. And well, we'll see you all in the shop.
I hope so. They need to rush to you. Speak to you soon. Ciao, cara. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you again, Shanti, for this wonderful chat. You can find her at www.meracu.it and on all social medias as @Meracu. Thank you again for listening. Venice Talks podcast is a production of Sentire Media, created, produced and hosted by me, Monica Cesarato. Follow Venice Talks wherever you get your podcast, and if you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me over at www.monicacesarato.com and on all social medias with the handle @MonicaCesarato, where you can follow my adventures around Venice. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it and leave a review. It's very much appreciated.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.